Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Our topic today was basically the shift from IOC dominance 50 years ago to where we are today. So we've seen a gradual change from when the OPEC was formed 50 years ago, to where IOCs controlled the world, had 85% of the reserves. Today we're talking with IOCs having 15% and NOCs controlling 85% of the world's reserves. So is that the preferred model for the next 50 years, for going forward? And so we're talking now about what is the right partnership balance between IOCs and NOCs. And our question was, what could be the win-win pillars of this 21st century partnership, and what are some of the things that we need to be looking for in trying to maximize recovery in the new and challenging world? So we wanted to put this a little bit in context. And so we're thinking about the change from the end of easy oil to now today's more challenging and difficult reservoirs, unconventionals, as have been talked about already. And so there's several different elements of challenge that are required. There's new technologies that we're applying to these reservoirs. There's mega project risk. We're looking at very, very significant investments. And we're also seeing on the other side is increased scrutiny from society at large. And especially after following Macondo, we're all seeing people interested again in the oil industry. And we just, when we think we've built our reputation up, something like that happens, and we're all kind of hiding under our chairs when we say we work in the oil industry. So how do we start using these partnerships even to rebuild our reputation? And that was one of our first tenets that we wanted to talk about, was the shared reputation management. And it's something that is a win-win for both IOCs and NOC, is to work on our reputation to society. And it helps us in the war for talent, in getting new people into our industry, and it helps us even just to build what is required to meet the future energy demands of society. Another tenet that we had was we wanted to incentivize cleaner and sustainable development, and it's part of the reputation issue, is that we really need to start building things that will show we're not wasting energy. We don't want to flare gas. We don't want to release any CO2 into the atmosphere. And some of these principles are again things that are wins for both IOCs and NOCs. And one other thing we talked about is the traditional relationship kind of needs to change as we move into more technically challenging reservoirs. And there's need for every reservoir is different, and so you can't necessarily say this existing partnership that I've had for several years may be the best one going forward. If I need a specific technology, I need to go out and figure out how to get that technology to be applied, and to make sure that then the reservoir that is needed for that development concept can be developed by the right players. So we need to have some flexibility in our partnership. We also need to have more transparency from what the IOCs are needing and what the NOCs are needing. And we both have several objectives, and it's time, rather than trying to work it out just in a long 50-page contract, that we start thinking about the shared principles that we have, and that as we both see what are we trying to achieve with these principles, that we can then work together and have a longer-term relationship. So that transparency we thought was key. One other thing we thought about is just that as we are, IOCs are operating typically as project managers, and as these projects keep getting larger and larger, that's one of the roles that IOCs can help with NOCs, is managing mega integrated projects. And it doesn't, as we were talking about some of the recent contracts that have been awarded on service type contracts, we don't necessarily see that as necessarily being an ideal model to maximize recovery efficiency. And so sometimes we tend to simplify our contracts too much in order to make them transparent on who won, but we want to ensure that we're also doing what's best for the reservoir. And I think that's something we need to think about again as part of the transparency equation. And then lastly, one of the things we felt that was another way to have a win-win with IOCs and NOCs is to help partner not just in our home country, but taking it globally. And this is something where once you've built up a relationship between an IOC and an NOC in one place, why not leverage that and take it, export it to the world? And sometimes those relationships are so key, and you build up what are the competencies and the expertise of each other, and there's definitely ways you can apply that, whether it's in Abu Dhabi or in Kazakhstan or in back in my home country of Denmark. So that's one of the things that we need to start working together to achieve win-wins and really just to enable not only for society but for all of us that our industry reputation can be enhanced by improved stakeholder management and looking at applying technology in a cleaner way for our industry. Thank you very much.